Ito ang CCBC-TV Televisión Channel 33. Isang komersyal na istasyon NG Television na pagmamayari at pinapatakbo NG Capitol City Baptist Church. Sa ilalim NG numero NG permit na menos $1,467 bahameños sa 2011 nagpapatakbo hanggang Setyembre 26, 2021. Nagpapatakbo ng may lakas na 60 kilowatts. Ang maayos na lisensya NG National Telecommunications Commission. Ay matatagpuan sa 111 West Avenue, Luzon, NG Quezon, Pilipinas. Ito ang CCBC Channel 33 ay nakasainon na nga kababayan at hino at ang pangalawang pagsisimula, mangyaring tumabi ka lang.
Ang susunod na programa ay rated PG. Patnubay at gabay ng magulang ay kailangan sa mga batang manonood.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon to everyone. I want to bring you very warm greetings from colleagues around the world, from the Micah Challenge family. As you've just heard, we are a movement designed really to respond to a number of incredible promises which the world made in the year 2000, and that is that we would together across the world, 189 nations said, we will halve extreme poverty by 2015 by following 8 principal promises to the poor. And so a number of us across the world felt that this was a very worthy Christian thing to do. And among them in the early days when we began was Senior Pastor Ray, who was a part of this global movement. And so it's a real joy to be here with you. I'm here with the World Evangelical Alliance as we have a leadership meeting for a number of days here in Manila. And so I thought it would be great just to take this opportunity to come worship with some of our brothers and sisters here in the Philippines during my brief stay here in Manila. So thank you. And just to say, as we hear of stories of earthquakes and typhoons and flooding, we are a long way from you in the UK, but you are ever present in our thoughts and prayers, and just asking God to continue to be with you. This is also a very exciting week of campaigns around the world, and Micah Challenge has had the opportunity to facilitate a global campaign called Exposed 2013. It's a global response to corruption, which is the single biggest obstacle to dealing with extreme poverty. And during the course of this week and in weeks and months ahead, we have a real passion to see many vigils. You will have had something like 2,000 prayer gatherings and vigils around the world where Christians have been coming together to remember the poor, but also challenge our civil authorities and governments about corruption which exists in many nations. There was a very significant series of meetings here in the Philippines during the course of last week on the 16th, and another set of meetings on the 29th. And if you haven't heard about them, please get on the website. It's really, really easy, www.exposed2013.com, and that gives you all the information you will need, and also tell you exactly what's happening here in the Philippines. So something briefly behind my visit to you and this wonderful opportunity to share a few moments of the Word with you today. So I want to take a few moments to turn our attention to God's word. But you must have had that experience at some point where you ran your hand over a piece of wood and a splinter lodged itself, you know, that, and that annoying constant pain which is just there all the time. Or maybe it was the persistent toothache. You didn't want to spend any money to go to the dentist, so you decided to live with it. And it's just always there. Now, I am a real man. So my pain threshold is very low. Very low. And when my daughter was giving birth to our granddaughter about 18 months ago, I was in the labor room with her. And being a real man, when the pain began to intensify, I couldn't cope. So I thought I would go outside in the reception area to do real pastoral duties and read a book on theology, just to get my mind off things. But as I sat in the reception, the amount of women who were being wheeled past me in pain and it was actually worse than being inside with my daughter. I thought I had escaped the pain, only to run into a lot more pain. And it made me very angry. And I remember putting up a prayer to God and saying, God, why is there so much pain and suffering in the world? And it began to turn my mind to God's mission in the world. And it seemed to me, and still does, that perhaps the mission of God in the world